Have you ever found yourself so overwhelmed with thought that you just can't think anymore? I have. In fact, that is exactly what happened to me when I was writing the speech. I knew the exact quote that I wanted to talk about, but for some reason, I hit a wall. I'm sure we've all experienced something like this. Our minds are either dwelling in the past or in the future. But what about the present? What about this moment right now? The quote that I picked was said by Osho. I've used it many times when I teach my yoga classes, and it came in handy when I was writing the speech. He said, "Life knows only one moment, and that is the present. Life knows only one space, and that is here. Now and here. These two words are the most significant words in the human language. They represent reality." For me, this quote says that we need to be as present as much as we can because it's where we're at right now. It reminds me to pause when I'm feeling overwhelmed, and that's what I did when I wrote this speech. The present moment is so important, and I hope to shed some light on why that is. Osho traveled through India as a public speaker and teacher of meditation in the 60s and 70s. He was a bit controversial for a few reasons, but many of his quotes are still relevant, and a lot of them are about being present. I believe he said this quote to show that each moment is a reality and that living in the past or in the future isn't always helpful, especially if that's the only place that our mind resides. Of course, there are times when learning from the past or planning for the future is necessary, but it's totally unhelpful if that's the only place that our mind is. We often go buzzing through life without truly taking in what's around us in this moment. But if we did hang out in the present, I believe we can have the gift of a clear mind. Just a brief moment of nothing. No doing, just being. Even if we have an enormous workload, there is still time for just a brief pause. A pause to reflect on what's going on around us and clear out the things that don't serve us or are unnecessary. That way we can focus on what is happening in this moment right now. And so that's what I did when I wrote this speech. I reminded myself what I was writing about, and I decided to pause. I realized that my mind was not only comparing this speech to my last speech, but also thinking about all the things that I needed to get done in the future. I decided to stop comparing myself to the past, and I told myself that everything that I needed to get done can wait till later. It was not easy, but because this quote reminded me to be present, I was able to clear out those unnecessary thoughts and focus solely on the task at hand. This is just one example of how being present has helped me, and it's the reason I use this quote so often in my yoga classes. I want to spread it to as many people as I can. This moment right now is our reality, and if taking a moment to pause can be the difference between overwhelmed in thought and a clear mind, I'm going to take that pause. Quote, "Life knows only one moment, and that is the present. Life knows only one space, and that is here. Now and here. These two words are the most significant words in the human language. They represent reality." End quote. Because I gave myself time to clear out those unnecessary thoughts, I was able to focus on the speech. This can be applied to any time we need to focus on the present, whether it's because of an important assignment or because we need to focus all of our attention on family or friends. I use this quote so often because it has helped me realize the importance of presence, and I hope it has done the same for you. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Why was he so controversial?
So he did not care for socialism in India. So when he was public speaking, he would bash that a lot. And then he was also very open about sexuality. And so they didn't really like that very much over there as well. And then he moved to the United States, I believe in the 80s, and he ended up getting arrested for immigration violations. So kind of a badass. Any other questions?
How often do you find yourself, catching yourself not being in the moment and resetting that? Is it a frequent thing?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like if I can notice that my mind is off wandering doing something else, I'll try to reel myself in. But I mean, there's a lot of times when there's nothing that I can do that will calm what's going on in my mind. So when that happens, I just kind of, I don't know, I have to blow off steam or something. So yes, it happens a lot. I have to keep reminding myself.
Yeah.
How long have you been teaching yoga?
3 years.
That's a long time.
It is, but it also doesn't really feel like it. Like I feel like there's still a lot that I need to learn. But I mean, you guys haven't known me for very long, but I would not be up here being this vocal and like open with you guys if it wasn't like 3 years ago. So that I feel like I've grown quite a bit in those past 3 years. Yeah. Any other questions? Awesome.